Hello everyone and welcome to the Boobeam channel. So we are all about testing tech, fixing tech and playing with tech. So if you're into your technology and you like to see some videos doing those things, then please consider subscribing to the channel and clicking on the bell notifications so you get notified when we pop new videos up. So in the video today we have this, a PlayStation 4, which we are going to try and repair. Now if you're watching this video, that means we've been successful and we have repaired it. Now this was bought from eBay. It cost us £64 plus delivery, and the listing states that the console starts up fine but doesn't connect to the TV. Power cables included, warranty stickers may have been tampered with. Spares or repairs, no returns. So without any further ado, let's get this open and see what we've got. Okay, so not the original box, but that doesn't matter too much. Power cable. It's good to have spares. And then PlayStation 4 unit. Okay, let's have a look at this. So what's the condition like? So quite a big scratch along the front there. Not too worried about that. From that, it looks in quite good condition. All the ports along the back. So first things first, I'm just checking the HDMI port. But that looks to be in relatively good condition. We'll see if it's been replaced or not. It looks quite dirty in there, so maybe not. Warranty stickers have certainly been played with and they're stuck back on again. Okay, good. So I think for this one, what we will do, first things first, let's get it plugged into the TV and see if we've got any output. Okay, so we've got it connected up to the TV or the monitor. So let's power it on and see what happens. Okay, got the pulsing blue light, which is good. Hard drive sounds a little bit on the noisy side, but not too bad. So screen is trying to output something. Still got the pulsing blue lights. Let's see if that goes to a white light. So a steady white light means the PS4 is okay. Okay, so steady white light, but actually nothing itself on the screen. Now that could be a couple of things. That could be the HDMI controller chip, or it could be the actual HDMI port itself. But it didn't look damaged to me. But what I think we'll do, we'll get that under the microscope if we can and see if it's actually damaged a bit close up. And then let's take the PlayStation to bits and have a closer inspection of the HDMI port. Okay, so let's start the disassemble. Now this is the first time I have attempted to disassemble a PS4, so wish me luck. This model is the CUH 1216A. Now I believe there are some slight differences from this model to the older models, obviously, different types of screws, etc. So let's give this one a go. Now, first things first, I want to take off the hard drive, so just shifting that to the left or to the right, depending which way you're looking at this. That pops off like so, and there's one screw there, it's a Phillips screw, which we will quickly take out so we can pop out the hard drive. Okay, so it screws to the side, and then the hard drive just pops out. There you go. Now there are a load of screws around here, but from doing a bit of research, there's been a few people which start taking the back off first of all. So, as you've probably all seen before, there are two warranty stickers here and here. On this model, there's no screw holes to the side though. I don't think there's one in there. So that should be interesting. So let's pop off the warranty stickers and then we can try undoing those screws and see what happens. Yeah, the more I look at it, these warranty stickers have definitely come off before. And you can see they got holes all over them. That was before I took it off. So, Torx screws, we need a T8, I think it's a T8 for this one. Yeah, looks like a T8. Let's take these two off the back first of all. One and two. As I say, there's nothing else to undo on these sides, so I think you do it with a bit of brute force, if I'm honest with you. Let's just have a quick look here and see what we've got. Yeah, so if we lift that up, and try to pry the side off. So if you put a screwdriver there, you would see it where, I mean you won't see it on the camera, but just above there, this is where the two parts of the case meet. Now, I'm sure we're going to get some scratches, but with that big nasty scratch on the front of it anyhow, who cares? So there you go, that just pops off. And I believe it'll be the same for this side over here. So again, what I'm doing is screwdriver right in the crack there where the two case parts meet and just prying it off. So swap the arms around. See how we get on this side. Lift. He's fiddly, that's for sure. Let's try this unit, this tool I should say, which has got a bit more play on it. There we go. So that took quite a lot of force, and I have scratched the case a little bit, but hey ho. And this lifts off just like that. Okay, so that is the bottom case removed. Now what have we got here? So some ribbon cables, I believe that's the battery power supply I should say. So there's a Phillips there, Torx there. Right, so let's pop these ones off. Looks like 3 holding the power supply on. Okay, these Phillips need to come out. So it looks like these Phillips are holding this metal plate in, so let's get those ones out as well. Quite long. The metal plate comes off just like that. Now I believe that will free us up to get the battery out. I think it comes from this side. Jeez. Yep, there we go. And there's a cable connecting that. Let's just carefully pop that cable off. That is very tight. Okay, that's tighter than I expected. So ribbon cable connectors there. Good. That must be the Blu-ray or DVD drive. That looks like an aerial cable for the Wi-Fi, I imagine. Okay. So let's take these off. So that one to the right just pops off. This one in the middle has actually got a little cap on it which you have to pry up by the looks of things. Yeah. There we go. So you pry that up first one, this should pop out now. Lovely. And this one just pulls out. So that's those disconnected. Let's take off the Wi-Fi antenna. Do it from there, and there's a, I don't know if you can see that, the Wi-Fi cable kind of runs around, it's clipped behind some cable ties, so let's just pop that one off from around there so it comes out. I don't know if we need to do that, but we'll find out in a minute. Okay. Now, to get this out, it looks like that needs to, well, that's loose for a start, isn't it? So it looks like that's supposed to be that loose. Those screws are tight. Sure, it's not meant to be that loose. Anyhow, yeah, so let's disconnect this ribbon cable as well. And then I think there's one screw there, one there. Is that it? This one there, I imagine. Maybe that one there as well. To to take the Blu-ray out, so carefully undo that. Okay. So torque screw there. Another one there. One here. And I imagine there's one there as well. Come on. Magnetic's gone from my screwdriver. So grab that. Yeah, and this screw at the front, I think. Yeah, because that's connected, isn't it? Right. Okay. Now, this bad boy should come out now. Here we go. So that's the drive. That's all done. That's all done. Good. Okay, so let's flip it over. Now to take this side off, it's 2 screws, 3 screws. No, 1, 2 screws. 2 screws there. So 1, 2. Any more, 3 more. Here we go. These just pop up. Let's go that way. Okay. Take that screw out, didn't I? Yeah. There we go. So you kind of have to bend this rear part round another bit of plastic. Okay. Surely there's nothing else holding that, that just pops off. It doesn't look too clever, to be honest. Right. Is that how it comes off? Be careful your ribbon cables. There we go. Don't know if that was the right way to do it. Yeah. All the tabs still look intact. Oh, it came off. Right. So now we are inside. Quite dirty. A good few more screws to take off. So we have got torques, another one there, another one there, another one there, another one over the back there, and then there's some Phillips or crosshead. That just lifts off. Good. Now, here's the ribbon cable which connected the DVD drive. So I'll tell you what, let's disconnect that from there. Just pull that through. and get our DVD drive and just pop it back onto the DVD drive so it doesn't go missing. There we go. That doesn't look right to me. I think someone has definitely been inside this and just put the wrong screws there. Okay, so it looks like a bracket for the heatsink. Let's remove these torques over here. Because this cover looks like it's going to be in the way of the motherboard, which it is. Okay. We'll leave that on for now because we can probably just move the motherboard around that. Okay, good. Leave that on. I imagine the heatsink, or oh no, maybe it doesn't. I was going to say imagine the heatsink comes away with the motherboard, but looking at that, it doesn't. Okay. No, it doesn't. Right, so let's take this off. Which is the bracket for the heatsink. Go. What else is left? That's all off, that's all off. Ah, okay. The other part of the bracket comes off. Do you know what? I can't see any other screws, so... Ah, hold on. Power switch. So, we need to remove the power switch by the looks of things without breaking it. Oh, nearly lost it. So that just pops off. So that was on there connected across the motherboard. Pop it off. Off it comes. There we go, that's better. Right, so just move that gasket out of the way. And then, power for the fan. To take that off would help. And then, there we go. We have the motherboard out. Smashing. Look at that. Right, now, so the problem with this is no display. So what we need to look at is, has the HDMI port been replaced? And then immediately, just looking at that straight away, you can tell someone has tried to replace the HDMI port, and to be honest, it don't look that great. Now there's solder, which is, see if you can zoom in a little bit, you see it a bit better. I think you'll be able to see that. I mean, even these solders look a bit dry joint, but there also looks to be a bit of a breach there with that solder, or something going on. Not between these 2 points, but it looks like something's been covered with solder there. It's very tacky solder. All the components still look in place though. Just pop off that cover. It looks to be a half decent job. I think there's a couple of legs not sitting correctly. So anyhow, tell you what, let's get this under the microscope and then we can view it properly. Okay, so here we are under the microscope. Now, this is the underside of the board, and this is the right-hand side of the HDMI port, where the grounding feet come through, and as you can see, I mean, there's still a load of flux in there as well. It hasn't even been cleaned properly. Yeah. What concerns me is this just here. Now, has there been any damage to that? Because that is tiny and I don't think I'm going to be able to replace that. Now, looking at the other side, it's just a bad job, you know. You should never have this much of a blob of solder. I mean, it's all right, but it's much better than the other side. To me, that's probably just a little bit too much solder. Now let's have a look on the flip side, the actual feet, or pads I should say. Try and give it a bit of focus would help. Yeah. I think they look all right, apart from this end one here. That's solid. None of them are loose so far. That one's good. That one's good. That one's okay. That one's okay. That one's okay. 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 That one's okay. Final one. Oh. That one's okay. So my main concern is, as I say, the pads look okay. You know, the legs of the control looks okay. The main concern is this side and what's going on here. Again, let's get a bit of focus. Now, unfortunately, with my microscope, I can't actually see if there's a problem here, this side, if it's connected or not. It certainly feels like it is. But again, you know, it's very close to this. So is there some breach going on here? So what I'm going to try and do, let's get the HDMI port removed, and also here, what's going on here? So let's get the HDMI port removed, get a new one put on, and just kind of make a bit of a better job of this, hopefully. Anyhow, it's the first time me trying it. Saying that, probably make it worse. So let's give it a try and see what we can do. Right, so before we actually try to replace the HDMI port, just below the HDMI port's just there, and just below that there are 4 filters which, you know, filter out some of the crap which you'll get on your TV screen. So we need to test these first of all. So 1, 2, 3, 4 filters, and then we need to test them. They've got 4 legs on each of them, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. So what we need to do is just test that this top left and top right, so that there's continuity between the two, and of course check that there's no crosstalk between the diagonals. So let's give that a go. So starting off the left, let's see what we've got. Half the problem is there's so much rubbish on here that you don't actually know if you're making contact. So, any crosstalk? Nope, don't think so. Oh, that made bad contact anyhow, so there we go. Just check that crosstalk again. Nope, we're fine. Clean off the probe. Next one, top to bottom. Be good. Any crosstalk? Nope. Move it across. Any crosstalk there? No. But it's connecting there. Good. Third one, top to bottom. Good. Any crosstalk? Nope. Good. Connectivity or continuity, and then the fourth one. Good. And no crosstalk there either. Okay, good. So that proves the filters are good. So I think we can move on to trying to replace at least the HDMI socket, because as I say, it looks like, yeah, a bit of a shoddy job if I'm honest. So airflow wise, I've got it on number 2 on my hot air machine, but it is low, which is good. We want it low, we don't want it crazy, because I don't want to blow any of those components off. Just a little bit more flux to that. Now what I'm trying not to do is pull the HDMI ports too much, because it should just drop off. You pull it too hard and it rips the tracks off the PCB. Okay, it's on its way, that's for sure. There we go. Off. Good. Okay. Let's see what damage we've done. Hopefully none. Okay. So we can tidy this all up now. I hope that diode hasn't moved too much. Okay, so there we go. We've got the pads cleaned up, and we've run a little bit of solder across, and also the actual feet, the grounding feet for the HDMI ports is now nice and clean. So just run a little bit of flux over there. Now what we're going to do, we're going to warm it up with the hot air, and then once it's warm enough, once the solder starts to go like a silver effect, we're going to drop the HDMI port in, which we're holding with a pair of tweezers. Okay, so that's the port on, which was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. Anyhow, it's all a learning curve. So we've added just a little bit of flux across the pins here. What we're going to do, we've got a fine tip on this soldering iron, and we're just going to try and go across each one. Give it a little bit of heat so it bonds to the board. Okay, so here we are. So let's get this motherboard back in the case and get the PS4 built back in, and then we can do some testing. What I'm actually going to do, I'm just going to remove this old thermal paste or compound, just because it does, you know, there's quite a few screws to take out and put back in again on the PS4, and if it works, I don't necessarily want to have to open it all up again. So we've given the motherboard a good clean. So now, as I say, I just take off the thermal paste and refresh that. So a little bit of isopropanol on there. Get a clean cotton pad. Let's just remove the old stuff. Beautiful. Make sure it's nice and dry. Good. And then do the same quickly to the casing. So if you remember when we disassembled, there's a heatsink here. So let's just clear off that muck from there. good. Again, make sure it's nice and dry. Perfect. Quickly grab our motherboard again. And let's add some new thermal paste compound. Compound, paste, whatever you want to call it. Do you know, I never know exactly how much to put on. That looks a little bit too much, to be honest, but hey ho. Right. So let's get the motherboard back in the case. Now, first things first, there's a gasket on here which we need to put back on. So let's just grab that. Let's put the case there for a minute. Okay, so let's just pop the gasket back on. It clips over the motherboard like so. Actually, I want to make sure that that doesn't short out anything it shouldn't be shorting out, because the soldering job that was there already. Now, obviously it should be touching the pads, which is good. Okay. Good. And then starting at the rear, do you know what? Let me just take that off quickly. So I was trying to be efficient earlier when we were disassembling it, not to remove this, but it probably makes sense just to remove that RF gasket quickly. Should have done that when disassembling. Okay, so port slide into the rear. Give it a bit of a wiggle. In we go, and then drop the front end in. There's a few black tabs this lines up with, here and here. Good. Okay, that looks good. Just give it a bit of a squeeze where the thermal paste is gone. So I'm going to pop these back on as well. I believe these act as like a thermal inductor to take some of the heat away from these chips, but I'm not 100% sure, these ICs. Anyhow, pop them back on. Okay, let's pop this gasket back on, because know me, I'll forget later. Two. Good. And then we've got this little bracket which pops over there in between those two holes. Then over the top of that, got to pop on this bracket, which obviously then pulls the heatsink to the processor. So Phillips. And again, if you've seen my other videos, I do like to balance it out, so I don't screw one side really tight. I balance it out evenly. So get it tighter, tighten that side, tighten that side until it stops, and then tighten that side until it stops. Now that just makes sure that the thermal compound pulls up nicely. Now, I'm missing one of the oh, there it is. Jumped up on there. Bless it. Right. Okay, good. So we can then pop on the metal case on top. So it only goes one way around, and there's a couple of plastic lugs it locates onto. Good. Now, if you remember when we were disassembling, there's this tiny little screw bracket here which needs to go on over there. Now that holds a screw which comes through the case, holding the, I think it's the DVD drive, or maybe not, maybe it's the power supply actually, holding the power supply in place. So don't forget to pop that in. And you can pop that black plastic square over there. Good, we're ready to start putting our screws in. Okay, so let's flip it back over. Let's put in the DVD or Blu-ray drive first of all. Now, if you remember, this ribbon cable we need to feed around to the front. So let's just pop that in there for now. So like that, good. I need to sort that out. So there's a big hole there. So we just feed it there for now. Let's get these ribbon connectors on. Now the one to the right just pushes down. Like so. Make sure it's nice and straight as well. Now the middle one, what I like to do is just make sure you'll see a black connector or holder across the top. So lift that slightly, then feed your ribbon cable in. Give it a little bit of a push, not too much. There you go. Nearly, anyhow. Like so. So that is connected now within, but let's get a flat blade screwdriver and then just push the black connector down so it's nice and secure. Done. And the one to the left, slot that in nice and easy. Not forgetting our cable for the Wi-Fi aerial. Just hover that above and then pop that on. And it's nice just to feed the cable around the cable ties again. Like so. Good. Make sure the cables sit nice and flat, which they do. Now, still holding the Blu-ray drive, I'm just going to flip it over and connect up this ribbon cable. Otherwise I'll forget it. So again, this one just slot straight in. And you'll see on most of these a little black line of how far in it should go when it's seated correctly. Okay, so let's get these screws back in. Okay, one thing that I forgot to add in was the power switch again. So I'm hoping we can still get to it from here. So that's the eject. Yeah, so you can see it. So remember we took the power switch out of here, just slides along there. So with a bit of luck, it will still go back in, and that just, there's a clip that goes over the PCB, and obviously it sits on the front there as well. Okay, so that's back in, good. Okay, so what else are we missing? Before we put the power supply unit back in again. I think that's all the screws. So let's get the power supply unit into. Well, I'm just going to quickly pop the hard drive in before the power supply unit, flip it over. In goes your hard drive, and there's the big Phillips holding screw for that. There we go. Just double checking we've got no missing screws. Don't think we have. Good. Right, let's get the power supply unit in, and then we can try powering it up. So obviously cable connector, and it goes in one way round, so pop that back in. Now you've got these two big prongs which actually feed the motherboard from the PSU, so just be careful of the DVD Blu-ray drive ribbon cables. Drop that in. There we go. Good. Then we had the metal cover piece, which went on like so. And if you remember when we put that little metal plate bracket on, this is what screws into it. So these screws go through and hold that in place. So if you didn't put that in place and this screw doesn't do up, that's why. Okay. More screw there. One more screw there. Okay, so that's probably enough screws now just to hold it in place, just to power it up. So let's give it a power up and see what we have got. Right, okay, so that is everything connected up. So let's power it on and see what we've got, fingers crossed. So blue light, which is pulsing. Screen is initializing. There we go, PlayStation logo, brilliant. Good result. Let's see if it just boots to the main screen first of all. Hopefully it comes up. There we go, gives the disclaimer, perfect, and then straight onto the blue screen, perfect, brilliant. Really good news. So one of the things that I'm going to do with this PlayStation is completely wipe the hard drive, reinstall the PlayStation operating system, and obviously we need to get all the casing back on, so let's get that done now. Okay, so let's get the casing on. One of the things I noticed is I was probably a little bit too eager with some of the screws. So that one there needs to come out when I put the case back on. I went through and there's a couple of other screws I missed. So I've put them all on now. So this side panel, or top panel to the side, goes on first of all. So I'm going to try and do the back end first of all. That should slot down. Obviously this needs to line up here, and then give it a bit of a shove. There we go, good. That's on. And then we can pop that screw back in. And then pop the other one in here at the front. So you've got the hard drive there, it's nice and secure, so then we can just pop that other top panel on, like so. Flip it over. And then, with a bit of luck, obviously this only goes in one way round, I'm going to slide that front end in first of all, give it a shove down. Make sure it's all connected. Yeah, it's all good. Final thing to do is get the last couple of screws in at the rear. One. And two. Done and done. And that is it. One working Sony PlayStation 4. So I will give it a bit of a clean up. Certainly. That all looks nice and solid. Good. So thanks very much again for watching. Really appreciate your view. Please subscribe to the channel. If you're new around here, these are the kind of videos we do, fixing stuff, anything tech. We either review the tech or fix the tech, and we do it in a way, hopefully, which shows everyone can do it. You know, if you follow the videos, do it your own way though. You should be able to start fixing tech. Now, again, a little bit of a disclaimer. This video is my way of doing it. It's not necessarily the correct way of doing it. However, as you see, we do actually get things working. So take the videos with a pinch of salt, use them as a guide, not as a rule, and hopefully you'll have some of your technology working again. As I say, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Any questions, any comments, please put them in the comments section below. Hope to see you all again soon. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.